We're going to pray before we get started and just ask the Lord to be with us tonight. So join me in a quick prayer for our group in our evening. Dear Lord, we just thank you for this ministry you have of Acts and all that you're doing with these kids and these families, seeing them come back in the fall and seeing just how much they've bloomed over the summer and changed every year is such a blessing. It's a blessing to be a part of each other's lives and to serve each other in this ministry. We pray you will continue to use us, help us grow, help us adapt to all the new information we're going to get tonight and the changes in our culture that affect everything we do. We know you are still present, you're still working, and you are still on the throne. We ask you to be with us tonight and bless our conversation, help us to have clear understanding of everything that's discussed and all the information given so that we can leave clear-minded and not confused. We thank you for everyone who pitched in tonight to provide refreshments and run PowerPoint and create the PowerPoint, and all of our coordinators and leaders who helped me pull this whole night together. So we just ask that you be with us and bless us tonight and send us your Holy Spirit to cover this evening. In your name, amen. Okay, and one thing before we go to the next slide, speaking about this community, and some of you will know what I'm talking about. When we talk about Acts and our mission statement, what we're doing, it's just been the richest, neatest thing for me to see. Some of you know this, some of you don't. We are working on our third wedding from Acts kids who've grown up and gone to Acts and are now growing up and getting married to each other from Acts. So I was at the second wedding this summer. Some of you were there that are in this room. We have another one coming in September. And I just think this ministry is working. If our goal is to create ties and relationships and build friendships, what is a bigger testament to that than people creating family trees and creating, intermingling genes and creating families and 100-year plans together that go on through time. So probably of everything that I've seen, nothing makes me prouder and happier than to see those kids that grow up and end up getting married and starting families together because of this group. So I just want you to take that as a big overview of the work that we're doing and that this ministry is flourishing and it's changing lives. So I think that's wonderful. So we're going to touch on our board of directors first. We usually read this statement real quick. You guys all know Acts is a 501c3, and we have a board of directors that has the overall decision-making authority working alongside the executive director. The board approves policies that direct operational management and delegates the necessary authority to the executive directors so they can fulfill their job responsibilities. And we do have two campuses, so the board is over both campuses. Paula McMullen is from North. She's our president this year. Tiffany Kraft is also from North. She's our secretary. And Rita McKinley, who's with us. If you can stand and wave. There's Rita. Woo! Yay! She's a South member.
I think all your money.
She's our treasurer and a new addition to the board. And so we're pleased that she's decided to serve in that way. It's a very important role to have our board working alongside us. So tonight, what we have coming is handbook updates for 16-17. There's not many of those this year. The theme for the year, we're going to talk about student government, student recognition rewards, our coordinator spotlight. We have an awesome guest speaker who I'll introduce fully in a few minutes. We're going to go on a little trip together, so I'll explain that when we get there. And then we'll go right into refreshments. Everybody that's a returning member can leave. Brand new people, again, will stay at the end for Acts 101. So that's where we're going tonight. Our mission statement is still, number one, to glorify God by providing support, encouragement, and opportunities to homeschooling families. So, again, I think we're definitely doing a good job at that. People are building lifelong relationships, and it's awesome to see. Our statement of faith, I'm not going to read word for word, but we do like to give it a little bit of time on the screen because it's very important. It's our core. It's all Bible-based, biblical scripture that we are, you've all signed that you agree with this. That's something new. So we'll go over that in a minute. But our theme, we're going to go into our theme. I'm going to keep us moving here. Is, drum roll please. There, oh, look at that. Fruit of the Spirit. That was super cute. So our key verse for the year is Galatians 5, 22 and 23. Is that? Okay, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. So that's our theme. Remember, last year's theme was encouragement. This is actually a theme that our student government voted on, and it was on the member survey. Several people said, oh, this would be a great theme. There's a lot of good things here, which there are. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that, and I will talk to you a little bit more about how we're going to incorporate that with the kids when we get there. So that's going to be fun. We have a few things that changed in the handbook. You can always find them because they're bolded. This is under general information, so these are snippets from the handbook. The bold part is a new addition, okay? So, under general information, classes are taught by members or those approved by the executive director at each site, because there's occasionally not a mom teaching. We might bring in a writing teacher. We have a grandfather that's teaching. He's not technically a member, his family's here. Once in a while that happens, so we just want to fully disclose that sometimes it's not a parent. Really minor little thing. Also under general information, members must agree with and sign the statement of faith that we just showed on the screen. So that's kind of a big change, but we realized if there's a significant number of people that say, oh, I want to be part of this group, but I really can't sign your statement of faith, then they can't teach. And then the division of labor, we don't have enough teachers to offer classes. And that was starting to happen at our other campus, and we thought, oh no, we're going to work ourselves right out of business. We need to have people that can teach. We need teachers. So we realized we were going to have to make that little detail of a change, but you know, it will keep us viable and it will keep us around. So I think that that's going to be a good thing for our group. Under requirements of parents, there was a change in, okay, I'm going to read this whole thing. Parents may not bring their own child to their assigned class unless the child is registered for that class. This also applies to other assigned positions such as hall monitor. In rare, this is the change, in rare situations, exceptions can be requested. And I'll stress the rare because I know everybody that's got a squirmy toddler thinks that's the rare situation, but these are more probably safety, security situations. You can come and request that. We want to put it in there that it's a possibility, but it really doesn't make things run well when kids are all over with mom. They really need to be in their assigned class. So, another thing that's not on the PowerPoint, speaking of little ones, anybody in here have nursery age kids? Okay. What we're going to have you do, and they started it, I think last year, but I don't know if everybody was aware of it. When you drop your baby off in nursery and you sign them in, put where you are that period, right in the attendance book, okay? That way, when we have a poopy diaper, we're not running to the information center and all over town. We can just say, oh, Johnny needs mom and she's in the chapel. Does that make sense? So you put where you are that period in the nursery attendance book next to your nursery baby's name. You're looking at me like you don't get it. Do you get it, Davina? You don't, it doesn't matter anymore to you, right? Okay. So if you don't understand what that means, come and see me, but we just need to find and connect moms and little poopy diapers easier, okay? Okay, under requirements of students, there was a slight change. Electronic devices permitted outside of class and when appropriate for use in class. Because it kind of made it sound like we were going to take them away and then give them back to you if you needed them for class, which is not the case. Moms, you manage your kids' electronic device and make sure that, you know, we don't have everybody walking around like this all day. Hopefully, if that becomes a problem, this could change. But we just wanted to clarify it. But they only go to class when they're appropriate for use in class. They can't be disrupting the flow of the teacher's class. But some teachers are okay with that, and we've even had kids have their Bible on their phone, stuff like that, and they're looking at verses, so that was a slight change. And then the other one was under tardies. Acts allows 5 minutes between classes. After classes begin, hall monitors check attendance of children and adults. You guys all know that if you've been here. Here's the change. Adults who are late to class, this is adults, disrupt the student's class time and learning. Frequent tardiness may result in the loss of good standing. So really, it's never the kids late to class that's the problem. It's always the adults, because then we don't have 2 adults in the class. We don't have the TA. Sometimes it's tricky first period when someone's always coming late. So if you're a teacher, the only way we know about that is if you report it to our attendance coordinator. Is she in the room? She's back here, Amy. There she is knitting. If it's a problem and it's disrupting your class, let her know so we can help solve the problem, okay? And we can see if there's something going on. But we really need adults to be there to be hands-on and help the kids. So you don't want to jeopardize and lose your good standing, which means when you register, instead of holding your date and where you are, everybody at co-op's in order, all 70 of us are in order, right? You would go to the bottom of the pile. If you lose, that's what losing your good standing means, and then your kid gets last choice of classes, okay? Another thing that is included in tardy is being late to your job. We had some problems last year with areas not getting set up because people were tardy for their job. So that can be reported too if it's causing a problem. And it's not to, oh no, you know, you've been bad. It's just, we need to get things done. And if it's not happening, and you're in charge of other adults, let us know so we can problem solve and try to fix that so everybody's where they need to be. So, okay, that's it for handbook changes. Yay, can you believe it? How fast? Has it ever been that fast? I don't think so. Okay, so we're gonna keep moving. Under student government, I just wanted to point out, we have a great student government program. This is our 2nd year we've been building. Last year was our 1st year. We had a lot of neat things happen. This year we have, I was just telling somebody it's all girls, it just turned out to be all girls. They really want to serve the kids and you moms. So when you see them, they're going to have t-shirts that identify them. They're going to have a little thing on their name badge that says they're student government. Ask them questions, utilize them. If you see them, they want to help. They want leadership skills. We want to build that program. So don't hesitate to, utilize them when you can. They're for kids and moms. And going from that, we have a great thing that they want to do again. We did it back in the 09-10 school year, if you were around then. We're going to do student awards for our Fruit of the Spirit. So this ties into our theme. Ooh, I like it. Purple shiny ribbon with the gold foil lettering. It says, Acts Homeschool Group, congratulations, you displayed a fruit of the Spirit. Galatians 5:22-23, and it has the verse. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. So, what we'll do is we're going to have, if you're a teacher, raise your hand. Who's teaching? Okay, a lot of you are teachers. You're going to be looking every week for whatever, let's say we're on love. You're going to be looking for kids, students in your classes that have displayed that characteristic, that trait. They were very loving. Little Susie was so loving to her friend Amy. When she fell down, she gave her a hug and said, it's going to be okay, let's find your mom, whatever. You see those things in class, you're going to email, we'll send out which email it is. You'll get an email every week and you'll hit reply, and I want to nominate little Susie because this is what she did to help little Amy. After the end of 4 weeks, we bring all those kids up and everybody gets a ribbon. We will keep track, and they're going to have a big seal. They'll wear it all day. Believe it or not, when we did this in 09-10, they loved it, and they're still talking about it as teenagers. We had a girl come back, and she's like, I remember that. We should do it again. So this is about every kid has wonderful traits God's given them. We can recognize that and build them up, bring them up. They'll go in your scrapbook, right? It'll be great when they're 39. They'll look at it and say, remember when I got that at Acts? So we're going to keep track. By the end of the year, every single child will have one of these. So if you're a mom in this room, which you all are, and your child hasn't had one yet, we're gonna be asking for double checks. Okay, email if you're, this is who we have marked as getting one, because we don't want anybody to get left out. That's the tricky part when you have a big group like this and you want to recognize everybody. It worked last time, I believe it'll work again. So we'll be focusing on these traits, giving ribbons, and student government has some other neat things they're going to do that I won't spoil. So be looking for that. It's just a little something to make this year special. And I think it's going to be fun. So any questions so far?
When are you going to give out the ribbons? At
Opening. Right, that'll be one of the openings.
And if you're not here for opening?
Then you'll either get it in your family file, probably, or we can bring you up with the next group. If you have somebody that really wants to come up front, let me know, and we'll make sure they can come up front to get it. We can make those up maybe the next week. Some kids it won't matter. Some kids really want to come up front and line up and, Okay, couple quick reminders, grievance procedure. I frequently have people come to me and I say, you're talking to the wrong person. You need to go talk to that mom first, which is hard, but we follow Matthew 18, 15 through 17. If there's a conflict between adults, and this is how it reads. If your brother sins against you, go and show him his fault just between the two of you. That basically means not the executive director yet, okay? If he listens to you, you've won your brother over. But if he will not listen, take one or two others along so that every matter may be established by the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. If he refuses to listen to them, tell it to the church. And if he refuses to listen even to the church, treat him as you would a pagan or a tax collector. So basically that's saying start confronting issues yourself before you skip up to, involving other people. Try, and I will encourage you to do that if you come to me. This is just a reminder, nothing's changed, but that's sort of the model that we're following with grievances, which is always a good model when you default back to the Bible. Okay, also a reminder, discipline policy. Nothing's changed in this, but we just go over it quickly. High behavioral standards will be expected at ACTS, both inside and outside of the classroom. That means like at lunch and when you're passing in the hallway. If a student is not following the standards set forth in the ACTS handbook, the procedure will be as follows. Number 1, a verbal warning will be given by the teacher or adult in charge, and the parent will be notified in person. So this isn't normal classroom management. Oh, you need to sit down and put your bottom on the seat, and this is something occurred that you feel you need to maybe discreetly, respecting the child, don't obviously embarrass them in front of everyone, and give them a warning, and that's something that you're gonna then, most important part, talk to mom so they have an opportunity to parent their own child and work with that. It could very well be something they're working on at home. They need that information from you. Don't feel like, oh gosh, I don't want to tell the mom, I just don't want to have that conversation. They want you to have that because they want to be able to work with their child, correct those behaviors, and they get to decide how they're going to parent. That's why we don't punish, we don't do those things. We just give a warning to keep everybody safe and tell mom, hey, this is what happened in class, just wanted you to know, I gave Tommy a warning for this is the incident. You can talk about it, you can problem solve, we're all in this together, right? So we work together. Number 2, during class time, immediate problems that disrupt the class will result in the student being escorted by the hall monitor to the executive director. So they basically come out of class, is what that's saying, who will then take the student to his or her parent. If the parent's serving as a teacher or TA, they will be replaced for the remainder of the class. The student will remain with their parent and may return to the class the following week after a resolution with the teacher has been reached. So we had something last year, I've blocked it out, what was it? Something happened in a PE class and it was, somebody got hurt and the behavior was inappropriate and it could have really resulted in an injury. So that child was sent to mom so that mom can talk to them, parent them, deal with that. They didn't get to go back to class the rest of that period because they needed to have that little break, and mom was in a class so she was replaced so she can, work with her child, and it all worked out fine. We hardly ever have that. That particular incident was a little tiny person. We've had it maybe a couple times with older kids. It doesn't happen much, but this is the kind of thing as a teacher when you go, whoa, what just happened? That is not okay. And you don't need to deal with it, you let mom deal with it, because they have their way they're parenting, they may be working on things again at home, so this is outside of your normal classroom management kind of stuff we do. That makes sense, kind of, to everybody? Okay. Okay, so, oh, and then the third part of discipline was if there's an ongoing problem, the executive director will make every effort to resolve the issue. However, ACTS reserves the right to deny participation with the final decision regarding with the ACTS Board of Directors. And that would probably be maybe something we're just not equipped as moms, we're not trained professionals with certain behavioral problems that we just wouldn't be able to really do the child justice and be able to work with them here. And we would all decide that together. And again, that's never happened, but that's the third point of the discipline policy. Okay, so we're gonna go on to our coordinator spotlight, introduce our coordinators. Some of them are gonna stand up and talk and give us their exciting news for the year. Okay, I'm Holly Norquist, Executive Director. Amy Reinmuth is our Assistant Executive Director in the back. Thank you for the PowerPoint. She wasn't feeling well this week and she pulled it off. She's awesome. Brenda Ng is our new Accounting Coordinator. There she is. Do you have anything you want to say? No. If you need a reimbursement, that's who you go to. Okay, that's the bottom line with Brenda. Rebecca Kerr is our new Administrative Coordinator, right there. Do you have anything you need to say to people? No. She just administrates everything very well. Okay, Amy Reinmuth is also our Attendance Coordinator. Do you want to give out your number now?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so if everybody can get out your cell phone, if you do not already have my phone number in your phone, and we're going to put my cell phone number in your phone. So when you are late in the morning and your child has just thrown up in the car, you can call me and say, we are not coming, and you don't have to go, where's that paper, where's that email, where's that phone number? So my name is Amy Reinmuth, it's written right up there, I'll let you just spell it from there, all right, and then pause for just a second when you enter that. Dramatic ones.
Very dramatic pauses. Yeah, that's important.
All right, my phone number is area code 253-973-0943. And texting on the morning of is the best way to get a hold of me. If you are going to be absent for that week, again, I need something in writing, and texting does work for me. I keep all those texts. Do not call me and say I'm going to be late, because I will not remember. Sharon knows. I'm like, who was that person that just called me? I have no idea, because my memory is about 5 seconds long. So texting me is always the best way, or emailing me. And my email is in the newsletter every week. So you can let me know ahead of time if you know you're going to be absent. But if you need to call, if you can't text, obviously you can call me. That's fine. And I'll write it down on my end. But that's the best way.
Can you repeat your phone number?
Yes, I can repeat my phone number. 253-973-0943.
And if you do what we call a no-show, most people that have been here know this, but if you're new, it's really important you let us know, because it causes a lot of, oh my gosh, where are they? What happened? Is everything okay? We've got to fill their spots. Where are their kids? So not reporting an absence does result immediately in loss of good standing.
People don't like me very well when you don't show up.
Yeah.
I'm a little frantic.
Yeah. So we just, it's kind of granted there may be some extreme situation where it wasn't possible. We're just talking about, oh, sorry, I blew it. It's really important you remember to report absences so we can plan for that and have a smooth day for everybody, because it's just sort of a complicated trickle-down effect when people aren't here and we don't know, and we have to pull floats at the last minute. So just remember to report your absence so you don't lose your registration. You don't want to be at the bottom of the pile. Okay, moving on from Amy, we have our facility coordinators, Davina Dillard is AM facility coordinator. Stacy Terrell is PM, and I think they have something they want to say about facility. Is that you, Stacy, or both of you?
Both
of you. Okay.
Thanks. Do you want to start? Okay, so I am the PM facilitator, so if there's a problem, find me. We just want to say thanks. We did it a different way this year and emailed everyone to see what you could and couldn't do, so that was super helpful. We were able to place people easier, so we weren't scrambling around after the fact. For the PM, how do we do it with the, if they're not here? We'll know that you're not going to be here,
We have
so
Amy.
if you're afloat, you check in with Amy, right, at the beginning of the day and figure out what you're going to do.
Yeah, well, no,
Sorry, we haven't worked this one out yet.
regular TA floats, check with her.
Oh,
We
okay.
keep track of her.
All right, we'll keep track of you, I guess. So here's how it works for PM. The last, you should be making sure your TA is spot cleaning if you're using glitter or you make a mess on the floor. After the last 5 minutes of your class should be swept up by the TA. And there are sweepers all around now, just those little push sweepers. And then fourth period hall monitor, when they're like, hey, you got 5 minutes, they're gonna hand you a trash bag. So your TA can immediately swoop up the trash and just stick it in the hallway. That way it just saves so much extra time. And then if you are fourth period and it's a little mess from the person before, you can always tell me and I can let them know. But there are a ton of sweepers around, so you could ask the hall monitor to grab you one if you needed it. And at the very end, we have someone that, besides myself, that's gonna just close up shop upstairs. So if you can just make sure the kids, once we're done, they're out and they're not running around upstairs. Doors are closed, and last year we had a ton of kids cruising around and then making more messes, and then I don't wanna stay here any longer than I have to. And if you have teenagers, we're gonna have a whiteboard. We kind of started at the end of last year, and we'll put up their jobs that people are missing and need to be filled. Or if you're like, hey, I'm just standing here, I could help out. You could cross it off or send your teenager or student government to help with those extra jobs.
Okay, so I'm Davina Dillard, for those who don't know me. I am the setup, or AM, facility coordinator. Getting here on time for your jobs is important. Some of you have bigger jobs, some of you don't. If your job is short and easy, as long as it's done by 10, I'm good. If it's parent zone, that is important. We need to have that done immediately. Those people need to be here by 9:10, and I will have already sent that out in email form, so you should already know who you are. When she's talking about our float whiteboard, it will be on a table right outside across from the sanctuary, and it's big, you'll see it. That is for when people are sick or they're not here and we have openings. If you're float for setup or tear down, look at that and make sure you mark it off if you're gonna do it. If you're gonna do it, just mark it off so we don't have 3 people going to the same location.
I have one more thing to say. Yeah. Just lastly, I know at the end sometimes, especially at the beginning, we're like, hey you, what's up? And you forget your kids are still hanging out waiting in class, or just if we could gather our kids and then do all that after, that way people can get in and do their jobs. Just makes it so people aren't here till 4. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Facility's a big job, so we appreciate Davina and Stacy coordinating that, because that's really what most people's year-long job is facility. Okay, Ashley Harvey, field trips. Where's Ashley? There she is. Okay, I know you have something you want to say.
From here.
Okay.
So I've planned tons of field trips so far, but if you have somewhere that you want to go, either, I don't know, call me, email me, grab me in the hallway, whatever. Anyways, our first field trip is actually going to be the very end of September, first part of October, so that payment is going to be due within the first 2 weeks of co-op. So we have like our first week, the second week the payment will be due, and that's gonna be at Northwest Trek. So during break, if you want any more information on that, just come see me, but we'll also have stuff set up first week of co-op. So that's it, so far.
Yay. What is the first field trip? Did you say what it was?
Northwest Trek.
No, you did say that. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yay, it's gonna be fun. And I requested that the animals actually be out when we go. That would be just kind of nice to see.
So, just really quick, I did select that we go they open at 9:30, so I selected that we are there at 10, and then I picked the 10:30 tram because it does make a big difference if you go in the morning versus the afternoon. So, anyways, I'll answer more questions at break if anybody has any.
Okay, good. That'll be a fun one. I don't think we've done that one in a while. So that'll be fun. Okay, fundraising coordinator has been vacant for a few years. We've been doing passive fundraising, which I'm going to touch on in a minute. But if you have a passion for fundraising, let me know. I do need somebody to help me kind of keep that organized, so that would be really nice. Come and find me if you can do that. We have Heather Hoff as our hospitality coordinator. Where is she? There she is. Yay! Do you want to talk about the...
Oh, teaching.
Yeah.
So in addition to the prayer digest that you guys are probably getting an email, we also wanted to do like prayer partners. And the way we're going to do that is out by the sign-up table, there are these little keychains. You can put your family name or your name on one side and a short prayer request on the other side. If it's private and you don't want to write it all out, then you can, when I mix them up and put them in the little yellow basket that says prayer keychains, put your name in there, and then I'll mix them all up. The second week of co-op, you'll get a person in your family files, so then you can, I'll tell you who that person is. You can email them directly and tell them your prayer request. So just write private on the back, so I know that. And then you guys can just put these on your keychains or on your purse or whatever, and then it's just a visual reminder to pray for that person directly for the semester, and depending on how we feel about that, maybe we'll do it next semester too, or we mix it up again. So that's it.
All right, thank you. We did that a couple of years ago, and it was really fun to do, so we're going to do that one again. Okay, moving right along. Party coordinator's vacant, if anybody wants to fill that. That's another role student government's going to take on this year, and they're going to help us with parties and kind of coordinate that and take that under their wing. But we're still open to having an adult kind of coordinate that. So come find me if you're excited about doing parties. Kelly Lake's our registration coordinator. I found her in the back. Do you have anything you want to say, Miss?
Just keep an eye on the newsletter the first couple weeks about class changes.
And new people will talk about class changes in the first 3 weeks of co-op. So veterans know about that. That information will come out in the newsletter. Okay, Melissa Cathy's our teacher coordinator, not here. She's who you turn in class applications to when you want to teach. We also have Rochelle Latham and Tessa Gilbertson doing yearbook this year. And I think, where are they? There they are, yay! There's your pom-poms. Okay, do you guys want to have a little?
We originally thought we had something to share, but now we don't, so.
Boo! Okay.
Just keep your eye out in the newsletter for things about portraits, family pages, and yearbook orders.
And we're going to be making some changes, and so we want to just make sure that we're clear on all of that before we start talking to you about them. But if you have any questions, just let us know, or any concerns or anything, just let us know.
Sounds good. Thank you. Your portraits is always really crazy, so we've been talking about new ways to make that smoother rather than doing it over here at lunch. So hopefully we've got some good ideas that will make things better, easier. Okay, Ben and Athena Hohenhaus are our new youth coordinators. There's Athena. That awesome meet and greet a couple weeks ago. Do you have anything you want to say?
I have a lot of really exciting things planned for this year, and those of you who are new, your kids are welcome to join as soon as they turn 12, and we're still keeping our energy meetings the first and third Wednesdays of the month.
And those have been published in the newsletter. All right, so, okay, there's going to be good times coming. Okay, where are we? Oh, so passive fundraising, I touched on that a minute ago. This could really get big if people invited family and friends to join and put our group in to support our group when they shop Fred Meyer, different places. We have a quick little we did it last year, I don't know what you'd call it, some little visuals of what it looks like to do, I think this is for our school. So when you go to For Our School, this is what you see, and in that blue box, you enter Axe Homeschool Group and we pop up, okay? It's really simple. These you don't have to put your credit card information in. There's nothing to compromise your safety. Once you do that, you can see there it says Axe Homeschool Group. You can shop at all these different places. Let's say you wanted to shop at Amazon. So you would find that, you would click on Amazon, and then boom, you're there. And that's the next slide, there's Amazon. So you, basically we get a percentage back.
Just super quick, Amazon isn't on there anymore.
They're not on there anymore, right.
So, I didn't realize we had Amazon Smile still.
We do have smile.amazon. There's still a lot of places on here. They give a bigger percentage for most places. They took Amazon off. I'm hoping that they put it back. But this was made when they were doing Amazon. But it works this way no matter where you want to shop. You can go and look and see all the different places. Fred Meyer, when you go to Fred Meyer, you can, have your little reward card linked to us. So if we invite people and we're going to send out some information on that, we can really we would never have to sell candles, magazines, or brownies again. But at some point down the road, if this doesn't really catch on and take fire, we're going to be selling brownies, magazines, and wrapping paper or whatever, candles again. So, but if you have a passion for fundraising, come and find me. You might have some great ideas on how to make that happen. I'm totally open to that. So, we also want to point out under fundraising, pizza, lunch, sales and snack shack sales and cooking class sales are 3 things that all involve food, interestingly enough, that are fundraisers for youth. Tonight you're going to be able to prepay again for pizza. We get our pizza at Costco. If this is confusing, I'll explain it in Acts 101. But if you think I'm going to order pizza at Co-op every week, you might want to just put a chunk of money down and be prepaid. And then you can just call your order in to our pizza gal. If you don't have money set aside, you can't order till you pay us on Friday morning when you get here, which is fine too. But some people don't want to hassle with that. They want to put $25, $50 down and just order pizza every week. Just text the order in and they're already paid for, if that makes sense. So it's a great way to make a little money for our youth group, and most of the money youth group raises is for their big retreat at the end of the year. It's a fairly big expense, but it's a really awesome experience for the youth to be able to go and have a really quality retreat, have a couple nights, and really do some in-depth bonding and discipleship training and stuff. So, and it's a great service for all of us to have our lunch taken care of. Okay.
Do they know my phone number?
It's all in the newsletter. So you're going to look in the newsletter. It's a running article that's never going to go away. It's got Rita as our pizza lady. There's Rita, also our board member. You can text her. You can email her. You want to say anything about it?
Yeah, I got a smartphone already, so enjoy texting me.
Yay!
I would really appreciate it if you told me not at 10 o'clock. A little bit before that, because I have to go to Costco with our order by 10:15. So if you're running late, you can text me. By 10, my shop is closed. That's my phone. Another thing is, for the new people, we don't only sell pizza, we sell chicken Caesar salad and sandwiches. It's all written in the newsletter. So feel free to text me or message me a day before, a week before 10.
Okay.
Thank you.
And she's talking about 10 o'clock on Friday morning, if you're confused about that. Because we have to get the order in and go get it right now. So we can't have straggler. We have to we have to calculate the money, get everything figured out. So that's why she's saying there's a cutoff time. And then we got to call in the order. So just don't get confused and think, oh, I order at lunch, because lunch is too late. We had that one year, and the poor family didn't have any lunch, and I felt awful. So, okay. Any questions before our special guest speaker? Anything? Lisa?
Is it the same price from last year on that?
Yes.
None of the prices changed. Yep.
I also have hot lunches for $3.
Yeah.
And that actually needs to be usually set up the week before. Occasionally the morning of, I'll have some leftovers.
So Crystal does the cooking class. Those were the 3 we talked about. So cooking class, and that'll be in the newsletter too. I did get your email, by the way. So you can get a 9x13 pan for dinner, or you can get a lunch serving while you're here for Friday to eat. You can do either one. So it's just, we accommodate all the way around.
And I have the sign-ups now. Did you want to come today?
Oh, okay. So at refreshments. Okay, so we're going to move on to our special guest speaker. And I just want to preface this by saying this was motivated by our realization that our emergency procedures were probably not current, I'll say, and we have to have safety and security as just the #1 thing while you guys are here. We want everybody safe. So you guys all saw me last year unpropping the doors, doing different things. And as I began to kind of dig and try and get information, I know I really realized that there was just information out there that I didn't know. I wasn't educated. We're living in a different world than we were when ACT started. So we're now getting up to speed. This is going to be great information, not only while we're here together, but everywhere you go. And I was able to get in contact with Officer Corey Smith, who I'm going to bring up. He's going to give us some great information. We're going to try to apply that to the time here at ACTS. This is, for some of you, this is just all really new and like, wow, why are we talking about this? But just remember, this is about keeping everybody safe. And that has got to be, in fact, I did a leadership book and they were talking about servant leadership, and at Disneyland, you think Disneyland, oh, what's their mission statement? It's got to be, just some amazing, their #1 thing is safety. Because if you're not safe, you're not having fun at Disneyland. If we're not safe, we're not having fun here. So we want to keep everybody safe. So without further ado, we have Officer Corey Smith we're going to bring up, who's going to talk about new safety standards and answer questions at the end. So let's give him a big round of applause.
Well, before I get started, as I was sitting in the back, watching and listening and thinking, I want to give you a little bit of encouragement. Who's seen Mom's Night Out? Okay. My wife's favorite movie now. She has moments. Right? What you do is important. Okay. I deal with kids every day that don't get the love and attention and the sacrifice that you show your kids. Okay? I know it's hard. My wife and I have this conversation occasionally, where wouldn't it be nice if kids were at school and my wife had 4 or 6 hours by herself to sleep, work out, have coffee, read a book. Okay, so it comes with sacrifices. We're there. We homeschool too. We do the co-op Bethany Baptist over in Puyallup. Okay, so been there, done that with you. Okay, so that's my little bit of encouragement. Real quick, for those of you that have not met me before and have kids as energetic in the morning as I do, okay, Starbucks gift card. Who can tell me the last decade a student was killed in a fire at a school, any school? Decade. Pick one.
80s.
80s. Before that. 40s, a little bit after.
60s.
Before. 50s, he said 50s. Now, if you're doing the math on that, and that's math with 2 F's, what is that, 60 plus years ago? So is it safe to say that the fire department learns from past events? Yeah. Before I became an officer, my background is in construction, residential and commercial. And roughly, last figure I heard, roughly 1/3 to 1/2 of every commercial construction budget deals with the fire code. Ingress, egress, signage, red letters, exit signs, emergency pole thingies. Fire code, we don't want people to die in fires, that's bad juju. Okay. Next up, we all heard about tragic events over in Connecticut. What's Sandy Hook getting sued for now? When we talk about learning from past incidents, tragedies, what are they getting sued for?
Not locking it.
Pardon?
Not locking the door.
Partly.
Not keeping the kids safe.
Yeah.
Negligence.
Negligence? Why? How?
By not doing it.
Why were they not doing enough?
That guy got it.
Yeah.
They didn't have security procedures in place for people entering and exiting.
And they should have been learning from what?
The other incidents.
Yeah. Sandy Hook is getting sued because they should have known. Out of all the tragedies in this country in the past, and especially in the last 10, 15 years, I'll go back, 20 years? Columbine, 1999. We'll start from there. So if a student has not been killed from a fire in 60 plus years, how many kids have died from violence in a school? Well, yes. Nail on the head, too many. A couple brief incidents you need to think about. Okay? My wife politely asked me, these are moms, not colleagues. Don't scare the ever-living daylights out of them. So my presentation is going to be pretty much sugar-coated. Holly has a lot of my documents, a lot of information. If you want to dig deeper, you're more than welcome to do that. Okay? So Platte Canyon High School, Colorado, 2006. They don't lock their doors. They didn't do a lot of stuff. An adult male with bad intentions walked right in on campus and was there for quite a while before he started doing bad things and kids ended up dying. Okay? Westboro Middle School in Arkansas, a couple of kids used the fire alarms as a weapon. Okay? They came in the unlocked doors, pulled the fire alarm, went back to their cars where they had all the guns and stuff, and waited for the whole school to go, ooh. Fortunately, their guns jammed, and not only. A couple kids did die, but it could have been much, much worse. So we'll get into that a little bit. Then we have Sandy Hook, one of the culminations of tragedy. Anything that could go wrong, did go wrong. Murphy's Law was in full effect. Okay? You had one of the teachers in the classrooms, substitute teacher, didn't have a key to the classroom, didn't know any of the lockdown procedures, no nothing. When I get into it a little bit later, I'll talk about macro motor skills, fine motor skills. You guys know the difference, macro motor skills, fine motor skills? Fine motor skills, you're using the tips of your fingers. Okay, when you're in a very, very high stress event, fight or flight, your body says, hey, I don't really need the blood in my appendages anymore. Okay, so it drains the blood from your arms, from your legs, to protect what's most important. Arms not as important, organs important. So you lose that fine motor dexterity. Okay, so when you're in a high stress event and you have a shooter that came into your school killing people, and you're trying to, from the outside in the hallway, which almost every school in this nation is locked from the hallway, trying to put that little key in that little hole, the shooter standing next to you and talking to you. Okay? And we'll talk about the windows in a minute. Okay? Actually, we'll talk about it right now. Glass is like plastic wrap on a Walmart pallet of merchandise. Does that plastic wrap keep anybody from stealing the merchandise on Black Friday morning? What does it do? It takes a little bit longer, yeah. All it does, and I heard the same when I worked in air cargo freight industry, all it does is keep an honest person honest. That's all it does. So windows and doors and glass, they're just keeping honest people honest. Okay? Their front doors were locked. They had a single point entry, technically. But with the doors locked, there was a big, nice big window next to the door. All I did was break it and walk right in. He actually shot it out, but okay. No penetration resistant vestibule. Some of the schools that are incorporating a lot of new safety standards have a kind of a, as a description, airlock type of system where even before you get in the front door, you scan your driver's license, bloop. Okay. Does a couple things, lets everybody know who's at the front door. And then most of the current systems now, as soon as you scan your driver's license, they're running a background check on you. They're running a sex offender registry check on you. And they're also running the school records for any parental issues, custody issue stuff. Important to know who's at the front door. Okay. They didn't know how to call out of the building. They were trying to call 911. And the only way the staff at the other end of the school knew what was going on is when one of the teachers trying to call 911 frantically inadvertently hit the PA system. Okay. Something to think about. If some emergency happens, how does everybody know? How do you tell everybody? We'll get to that. Okay. Westboro Middle School fire alarms are used as a weapon. Okay. So Holly and I were talking, and my suggestion is don't evacuate everybody until you see evidence of a fire. Okay, evidence. My suggestion would be started as a lockdown procedure. And then if somebody's smelling smoke or whatever the case may be, oh, it is smoke, it is a fire. Now we'll do the fire alarm drill, the exit evacuation, and make sure it's not somebody fooling around, maybe trying to bait you. Platte Canyon, the big thing here was they didn't lock their doors. Anybody could walk in. I'm dealing with this issue right now. I'm currently, from my department policy, I can't tell you who I work for, but I'm currently assigned to Lincoln High School. Do the math, 2 Fs. Okay. The building was built in 1913. The millwork in that auditorium is phenomenal. Craftsmen back in the day. It was not built for the challenges that we are facing today. Okay, so I've been talking with the principal, and it's money, I get that. Money's money. But one of the big things I let them know is you're gonna spend the money now or later. Okay? So it's either proactive or it's in the lawsuit later. One of the things that came out of Platte Canyon was identification for all the staff, for people that were supposed to be there. So somebody who's on campus, isn't supposed to be there, is readily identifiable. The basic premise is schools now need to prepare for violence, unfortunately, the same way they prepare for fires. Okay? It's who grew up in the stop, drop, and roll era? Okay? It's we teach our kids, we Every building you walk into, you know where the exit signs are for fires, for evacuations, earthquakes, emergencies. If you don't know Lieutenant Dave Grossman, he's a retired military, phenomenal speaker. He is, in my opinion, the world's foremost authority on violence in America. He's forgotten more stats and statistics and information than I'll ever know. He travels around 365 days in a year, 360, because it's that important. He's got kids in school too. He's got grandkids in school. It's important. So we're going to talk about our goal, where we need to get to, where we need to eventually be. If we can do that right off the bat, great. Okay, if your co-op is like our co-op, there's not a multi-million-dollar budget, right? Speaking of fundraising, if you want to fundraise, grab a box of Krispy Kremes and slow roll past the PD. Just throwing it out there. Or grab some pillows and blankets and throw a slow roll past the fire department. Need to revamp your emergency procedures, and I was so excited when Holly contacted me. How do we do this? We start by having a conversation. Okay, we start looking at past events. How does this apply to this building? How does this apply to our organization? How does this apply to our kids? Need to revamp the procedures and then practice them diligently. We'll get back to practicing. But practice and practice and practice so that it's second nature. Stop, drop, and roll. Need to figure out your communication systems. Do you know right now if the PA system in this church works? You have one. Probably good to know, isn't it? Okay. Or some other way. Okay, have you even heard of groups or schools? Teachers carry around one of those Coast Guard approved air horns. They're about yay big and will make your eardrums bleed. Great for playground outdoor activities when you need to let everybody know it's not going to class time, it's emergency. Okay. Need to think about temporary barricade devices. Okay. I get a lot of products coming across my desk. In my opinion, this is the best product on the market. It ain't cheap. Okay. Hooks into the bottom of a door, and using macro movements in an emergency, very, very easy to put in. Don't have to think about anything. What's great about this, if you need to disable it from the inside, macro movements, you kick it with your foot, the half-inch steel rod pops up, you can open the door. And law enforcement or your staff can disable it from the outside. There's a little special tool. Okay, so if some emergency happens, somebody's beating on your door, let me in, police, get in yourself. Okay? So this is the goal. I don't know how many doors. I counted up the doors in Lincoln. There are 400 doors that this would qualify for at $120 a pop, plus installation, not cheap. Okay. There are other options, we'll get there. But we need to do some. This is one of the best computer systems on the market. Okay. Inside your locked and secured front doors, scan the card, let you in, or however you decide you want to let people in. You come over to the little visitor center with an escort, swipe your driver's license. It checks you backwards, forward, upside, and down. Okay, then it spits out a little visitor badge. That's the front entry of Sandy Hook Elementary. But their doors were locked. Slow them down a little bit. Okay. Sandy Hook's getting sued for not having security laminate on their windows. Out of everything that's happened in the past, a lot of glass has been broken. Most incidents, some glass somewhere in the building has been broken, busted out. Okay, it's usually to get to kids. This particular product, I saw with my own eyes at a conference in Florida. I like it. Okay. They had a little sample up in front, and after the speaker got done speaking, we had a bunch of beefy cops come up, everything from baseball bats to crowbars, and there was a little 4x4 section of window with this stuff on it. We beat the ever-living daylights out of that thing, and it stayed put. It's not rifle rated, you can shoot through it, but it's still a physical barrier. Okay. You can't just break it and walk through it. Who in here has a smartphone? Wow, everybody. Okay. If you were to call 911 right now, what happens? Who does it go to? Dispatcher where? State Patrol. It doesn't go to Puyallup or Tacoma. Cell phone 911 calls go to State Patrol first. Okay, State Patrol takes all down all the information. Hey, what's happening? Where are you at? Oh, you need Tacoma's finest. Okay. So after 2 or 3 minutes of talking to State Patrol, they transfer you to South Sound 911, Tacoma's dispatch. And they go through the rigmarole again, trying to get all that information. Okay. After they do that, they have to dispatch officers. Okay. And a lot of people don't know this. They think we're staffed 100 officers on the street every day. On average, there are 10 whole officers for the entire south end of Tacoma. I know because I work swing shift in south end of Tacoma. And when things get popping, calls start stacking. And when I first came on in '06 in Graveyard, we were so busy and so understaffed that I remember looking at my video screen and seeing 2 home invasion robberies pending on my screen. Food for thought. So what this app does, it's a secured app. You have to have permission to use it. It goes on your phone. So if something, we'll say an active shooter comes in. Boop, big red button. So instead of going to State Patrol, to our dispatch, to the officers, you send out the bat call. Okay? At the same time you press the button, everybody else in this room with the app, whoa, there it is. At that exact same time, every officer with that app within a 5-mile radius gets that. At that exact same time, 911 gets that. Okay, you just, when seconds count, officers are minutes away. We just shaved like 6 minutes off. Okay. And on a busy day, if everybody's tied up over on the west side, it takes about 4 or 5 minutes. Lights and sirens screaming, coming to this side. Okay. So that's the goal. Okay. Now we're going to start asking questions. Okay. I'm not going to tell you what you have to do. I'm going to give you options. I'm going to start asking questions. You guys need to start answering. For your group, for your building, for you guys. Schools and groups are like fingerprints. There's no 2 the same. Okay, even in the Tacoma School District, no 2 schools are the same. Okay. So what is your current emergency procedure? Something bad's going down, you got to get out. Not a fire, not an earthquake, something else. What is it? Do you know it? You know it backwards and forwards. Okay. You guys got a couple kiddos in your class. Do you know it? Okay. Does the person next to you know it? Backwards and forwards. Inside and out. If you were gone, somebody else was filling in for you for that day. Do they know it? Inside and out. My sister-in-law is a teacher by trade. She's also homeschooling with her husband, and we kind of have our own family co-op thing going. But when she needs some extra money, she's a substitute teacher for the Puyallup School District. So when she arrives at whatever school, they hand her a 3-inch, 3-ring binder. These are our emergency procedures. 20 minutes before school starts. And she may or may not get a key to the classroom. So yeah, I've been picking her brain a lot. Okay. How do you practice your emergency procedures? Do you? Is it kind of a progressive building block style? I'll give you an example. Lincoln High School, when they do active shooter lockdown drill, vice principal gets on the PA and says, hey, we're going to have, notifies all the teachers the day before, hey, we're going to have a lockdown drill, second period. Then gets on the PA, hey, we're having a lockdown drill. And he reads, kind of walks everybody through it, holds their hand, which is great for the first week of school. You need that refresher, okay? But that happens every time. So at the beginning of the year, that's how you start. You start slow, get everybody on the same page. Maybe parents and teachers have a little training session maybe the day before school, so they're already on the same page. And then you get the kids on the same page. But by the end of the year, you need to be running your drills at the most inopportune moment. Okay. Holly and I were doing a little bit of a walkthrough, and we were talking about the gym. Yeah, there's usually maybe, depending on the class, 10, 12-ish kids. But what was it, on lunch? Lunch or free time or something? How many? Everyone. Okay. I think that'd be a great time for a lockdown drill. It's not what it is. Okay, that's where you need to, by the end of the year, that's where you need to be. The most inopportune moments. Because when the emergencies don't give you a week's notice, say, hey, this is what's going to happen, this is when it's going to happen. Is Murphy's Law in full effect? Okay. It'll happen at the least opportune time. We talked about how would you know if something was happening on the other side of the building? If you needed to get out. Okay. Can you let everybody else know? How would you let everybody else know? Okay. You ever seen somebody in the building you didn't know, didn't recognize right off the bat? Maybe it's a new parent. Maybe it's not. Okay. You're not expected to know everybody. Okay. Did you say something? If so, what was the result? Occasionally at Lincoln High School, we get transients walking through the middle of campus. Can you recognize everybody? Can the students? Or volunteers? Is everybody background checked? Not just a member, background checked. Just because you're a parent picking up your kid or grandma coming and picking up your kid or grandpa doesn't give you the right to come into this building and intermingle with all the kids. In my opinion. If you need Johnny or Susie, whatever dental appointment, hey, we'll come get them, we'll bring them to you. They don't need to go with you to the classroom. Talked about the lockdown drills. Who initiates your lockdown drill or emergency drill, earthquake drill? How does that happen? Does it happen? So we talked about the progressive building blocks. Maybe at the beginning of the year, that's Holly does the first one. But by the end of the year, it needs to be that most inopportune time, picking the most random parent, teacher, maybe TA, to initiate it. Maybe on the back of the badges, that hopefully everybody in the future is going to be wearing, that identifies you as staff as belonging here. You have what to say. Get on the PA, hey, there's an emergency, lock down. So that when fight or flight happens, you don't forget. We talked about the laminate, the shrink wrap, and the windows a little bit. How is it compromised? Holly touched on it a little bit. And what I have here, I brought it, ran in my bank safety deposit box today, picked it up. Last time I had it appraised, it was appraised between $100,000 and $750,000. Okay, it has the ability to render useless about 80% of the security systems on the market today. Okay. Be gentle with it. It's a doorstop. Okay, you could spend $5 million on a security system. This little booger will render it useless. Okay, somebody props the door open, hey, it's a hot day. Understandable. Okay. Something to think about. Okay. If you have your policies and procedures in place, we have something about propping doors open. And what if they do get propped open? Okay, any ramifications? Something to think about. What do we teach the kids about this? Should we teach them? How do we teach them? Give me your thoughts real quick. What do you think? Yeah. How do we do that?
I was having a conversation with someone who was talking about how in a situation where it's an active shooter, that just the action of moving towards them can, you have a chance of overcoming something. It's just one person where like something about their response time in their reaction to seeing you coming at them as opposed to running away is going to give you slightly more opportunity to intervene in some way.
Option?
Fire extinguishers,
Yeah. Option.
stabbing stuff behind the doors.
One of my jobs at Tacoma PD, excuse me. When I'm not a school resource officer, I'm one of the main firearms instructors. I'm one of the main use of force trainers and reality-based training instructors. Okay. I get paid a lot of money with my current assignments to teach people things. Okay? Option. Have you practiced it? Okay. If there's somebody that's coming in drunk, definitely an option. If somebody's got a weapon, whole different ballgame. Okay. Took me about 2 years to get comfortable with my adrenaline dumps going to hot calls in the city. And that's going to a lot during the summer. Took me about 2 years. Okay. So I can manage my stress, my adrenaline, pretty decent. Okay. Most people cannot. Okay. Outside of thinking things through is a start, practicing, and then progressively doing those building blocks. Okay. Maybe high schoolers. I don't recall off the top of my head, but there was a high school shooting, and the guy ran out of ammo. There happened to be a couple of high schoolers that were in the Boy Scouts, did some shooting. You know what that click meant? Yeah. They took that opportunity, jumped all over them, saved a whole bunch of lives. But they know what to listen to. about our elementary school kids? We have infants in the co-op. Wow. High schoolers can run. Elementary kids are good for about 20 yards on a dead sprint toward a donut. Okay? And then they peter out. Okay? What about the littles? Run, hide, fight. You teach them. You know what's scary? Not having the information. When the stop, drop, and roll thing first came out, everybody was up in arms. Our kids are going to have nightmares. They're going to be scarred for life. What they found was the exact opposite. Kids felt prepared. Fires didn't give them nightmares at night. Okay? Same thing. Okay. Yes?
A few years back, I taught the self-defense classes for kids here. And it was opposite. There was no fear.
Yeah.
They were begging me to attack them. I told them I could hurt you. They're like, no, try. I'm like, no. They felt empowered.
Yes. Empowered. Exactly. They know what to do. Information and training, practicing. Unfortunately, this is the world we live in. We can't keep our house doors unlocked anymore. Okay? Yeah.
People come over to my house and they try to leave and I'm like, oh, sorry, like I locked the door for them.
I like you.
People in my house.
Yeah,
Yep.
I do too. I usually don't have my gun on me when I shower. Usually.
So that means it's out.
Yeah, there was I saw a meme a while back about a guy taking a shower. He's like, I was in the shower. I was taking a shower eating and cooking. I heard a noise. He's leaning out of the shower eating and cooking holding a shotgun. So run, hide, fight. If you can, teach your kids to run. Well, which way do we run? The other way. What happens if there's another one? Turn around and run the other way. If you can't run, you hide. If you can't do neither, you fight. Okay. Earlier last spring, when we were doing a walkthrough, one of the, I forget who was with us, Holly. We were walking through one of the classrooms and said, well, if somebody comes in here and we're kind of trapped, I would fight. Excellent. How? Even if you're just thinking about your next step, your brain is that much closer and that much quicker to enacting it. Okay, if you got to think things up the moment of, it'll be a whole lot slower. You want to access your experiential Rolodex when stuff's hitting the fan. You don't want to have to go over to your intellectual side and think through a process and come up with something. Slide it over to the experiential side and pull it out. Run, hide, fight. Okay. Where do we go from here? Start answering the questions. You go down the list. Okay. The biggest step is Holly giving me a phone call. Recognizing that. That's a great first step. I wish one of the major school districts in the Puget Sound area would do that. It drives me nuts. The only door locked in the place is my office. Drives me nuts. Okay. At the very least, maybe you don't start with the infrastructure stuff. Maybe start with your policies and your procedures. Get a game plan. Start working on practicing and practice and practice and practice so it's natural. Stop, drop, and roll. Natural. Do some research. I got a lot of my good information from the Sandy Hook Advisory Commission. They set the bar. Not only did they set the bar, but they published their document and they update it as they see fit. And they want it to be the standard for schools across America. Great source of information, great wealth of information. Okay. As I was saying before, retired Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman, wealth of information. Okay, he's got a website, killology.com. This is what the guy studies. Bad stuff. How the bodies react to it, how we can learn from it, how we can train. FBI has some great articles, some information. They've got a little tab on the right side of their website, publications. Start going down to active shooter stuff and emergency preparedness. Department of Homeland Security. Okay. Find everything on YouTube. YouTube, Run, Hide, Fight. Department of Homeland Security has, I think it's about a 10-minute video. Okay. Not just for schools, but also works well for workplace violence. Okay. Start with what you can change now. Your kids are worth it. Questions? Yes, sir.
Question regarding the school guard app.
Yes.
Is there something that's not nearly as proprietary that can be used for quickly disseminating information to people who are sharing information regarding schools? You can do active shooter, fire, false alarm, student, but get quick information out that doesn't involve connecting 911 or anything.
Yes. The app, from what I understand, if you don't push the big red button, you can hit a little button if you just need one officer to come. It's got, like Holly would have like a staff login, so if she needed to push something to all the teachers without alerting half the South Sound. But in general, not that I'm aware of. And that's the problem. And I know Snohomish County is working or has developed something along those lines for the school districts to integrate with their law enforcement and first responders. Yeah, I mean there might be some more out there, but this has Colonel Grossman's stamp of approval, and that doesn't come lightly. What else? Yes, ma'am.
So we have, a bunch of moms here working security or
Yes.
whatever. What do you suggest realistically? Same thing from a high fight, or what do you suggest? Probably 99, I don't know. It's new to me, so are there any dads that play security or?
You guys are in a unique position. You want me to bring it up or you want me to? You guys are in a very unique situation because you don't, under Washington state law, you guys are not a school. You're not a private school, you're not a public school, therefore, ooh, you know where I'm going with that, don't you? I like you already. Okay? So the gun laws don't apply to you. Well, it's just like having a driver's license. Make sure you can stay between the lines, right? Did that answer your question? A little bit.
Yes. No. Any time as good as now, do we have, that we know,
guys are being very vague, I don't understand your question. Are you asking if there's people here that are carrying weapons? Is that what you're asking?
Sure, that would be good to know.
What was that? Speak up.
Do we have a policy in place that addresses that, and discusses it, since that was raised questions? Should we dictate the terms of whether it's allowed or isn't?
Yeah, something to think about, something to talk about.
Right now, our policy is students cannot have weapons, real or play. That's the policy that addresses weapons in our handbook. So there's nothing addressing adults.
And we've all been background checked, so there should be, she's a good here. Should be. So, outside of, because like, I don't know, there's something I didn't have with me that would be used. Taser members, bug spray things, sprays in the body, like, what do you recommend as something we can do?
Exactly, that's the key word, something. Something's better than nothing. A brick in your purse that you can throw at somebody. Something is better than nothing. Yeah.
They're prepared to invest in stuff, you want to look back. Maybe they could have some kind of security protocol. Maybe they could go national, or something.
That's a great idea. It's a fantastic idea.
We do have a lot of documents already that we could utilize in that way. Yeah.
We couldn't hear that great idea.
Walkie-talkies, little earphones between the hall monitors, maybe between the teachers, something where. Yeah, and maybe the hall monitors have one of those little air horns. Something goes south.
I mean, one call and I really need it and everyone would hear it.
Not that big of a building.
Yeah, but that.
It's things you can do inexpensively right out the get-go.
Yeah. And maybe instead of the $120 barricade device, maybe a little $3 rubber mallet from Home Depot and a door wedge.
Yeah.
To stop up the door, keep it from being open.
The big thing is us just knowing even how to do that, you know, like, do
Yeah.
that. So if you're a teacher or a TA that we're being pulled aside,
That'd be part of the drill, that'd be part of the you guys follow it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the way you guys are thinking.
So will you use no video for that course with,
Okay.
And is that something that we can make a turn? You know,
I
Mr.
believe
Coleman
so.
offered that, because I think it's like,
No. Tacoma is great on not giving stuff to private citizens.
I think it sounds like a really good mom's night out.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of those trainers can be bribed. Usually donuts and coffee. Okay. Yeah. You want something, or even if it's not a red man suit. Just.
Helps be able to be on.
Yes, it does.
It really does, because your adrenaline goes up, and you get to feel what it feels like to shake uncontrollably. And realize you don't have control of yourself, you better practice.
The closer you can get to practicing and training to real life, the better, so you know how you're going to think. It's all about being able to think under stress, and a lot of stress. Okay. But even if it's not a red man suit, just going 50% speed, half motions is better than nothing. Okay? Even if you can't do that, just talking about it is better than nothing. Okay? Get something in that Rolodex. Okay. Other questions? Yes, ma'am.
I just want to thank you for taking your time to come to our meeting tonight.
You're very
And,
welcome.
I think it's just really important that we start the conversation. I think that's what you kind of did here, and it's really important that we're all empowered and we all have the information. So I just wanted to thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. Any other questions I can answer? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Wasn't this awesome? Best guest speaker ever. Thank you, and you got to take care of that. I mean, that's, right, yeah. Do you have escorts to get you to your car? Wow, okay, so going along with some of what Corey talked about, I want to point out, we have a couple additional exits that we have not ever really used or even talked about, but this door right around here on the other side of the accordion, on this wall, I don't know if you guys can see it, it's a brown door. That is an exit door that's going to be unlocked. So if you go right into this room to the left, those doors go along a sidewalk and go right out to the street, okay? Those are going to be, there's a slide lock that will be unlocked. If you need to exit this room, you can now go right out those doors, okay? Those are what I call east exit doors. I don't know, maybe they're west.
Is that from the inside or the outside unlocked? What are we talking about?
So they're outside doors.
I know, but can people enter in that door?
No, they're an exit. So there will be locked, so you can't get in, but we can get out. So the fire department came through and said they need to be unlocked so people can exit. But that's a great exit. There's also, if you were coming down this hall, you know, our main information center, you guys have always seen the big brown doors at the very end of the hall. We don't even go in that hall. Those are now, according to the fire department, going to be unlocked. The slide, I'll have to the fine motor skills he talked about, I'll undo that. No one can come in, we can go out. Here's the thing to know about that door. It's chain link fenced. So if you lead kids out there, you will be scaling a chain link fence. I think your adrenaline hopefully can help you do that. But you're not gonna, and that's also that, some of you have seen when you're in the parking lot, there's a hill straight up. So you're gonna be going over a fence or going up a hill. It's not going to be pretty, but it is a way out of the building. So just so you know, that's what you're facing if you exit out these doors down the main hall. These doors right here don't have that. Okay, they just go right down a sidewalk to the street. So those will both be new exits that we're going to talk about, put in our emergency procedures. So we're going to take this information. I've been talking to the board about this kind of stuff for a year now. It's been kind of slow going until I got hooked up with Corey, who's awesome, we can all agree. So now we've really got something. We had good conversation tonight, like Mrs. Allerton was saying, you know, you guys are starting to track and think maybe we need to talk about having a committee that can work alongside the board to help us devise new emergency procedures that have run, hide, fight. That's nothing that's been in our handbook, but it will be now. So we need to start taking those next steps, and that's where we're going to move forward to. So if you're interested in being a part of that, let me know. I'm going to bring it up. It's on our agenda for our next board meeting. We need to have up-to-date emergency procedures, begin implementing some of these things. And I can even probably take the PowerPoint Corey did if you want to have that just as a document to kind of review, okay, what did we talk about? What do I need to look up? I can put that out too so we can start doing some research. Another thing we're gonna do right before our refreshments, there is an alternate exit, believe it or not. Some of you know about it, some of you don't. And we're gonna actually go on a little trip right now. And I'm gonna take you down this hall and I'm gonna show you how you can get out of the building from the gym without ever hitting the main hall. So if you're a gym teacher, maybe you're headed in for lunch, something's happening in the gym, we're gonna have this pathway open and accessible now, and it's a way to not hit the main hall, but get out through the front doors, okay? It's, I think, a result of additions added to the building, and there's those funny little pathways that churches can have that Why does this office lead into this closet and out into this room? You know, nobody designed it, it just was a result of additions over the years and things like that. But it could be useful, a useful exit at some point. So we're gonna walk that, and then we're gonna kind of end up here in the information center. We can do refreshments, pizza deposits, prayer keychains, lots of stuff happening out there. We'll try to do kind of a quick break, and then we'll do Acts 101. Okay, but before we walk out of this room, is there any other questions before we go on our little walk?
So, I mean, we could possibly easily implement, I mean, start now, walkie-talkies in your no longer bags, and get some sort of foghorn.
And we do have walkie-talkies. I mean, we can do that week 1.
And then take the foghorn, and just, let everybody know that that's.
Emergency, right. Yep. That one's an easy one to do. So,
We need to talk about what that means, if you do the air horn, one
Right.
blast, do this.
what do we do?
Yeah.
Right. Yep. That's all conversation, I think, really important conversation we need to have and begin working on. So, if you want to be a part of that, anybody, let me know. We'll just, you know, we want to get moving on this. It has taken me a year to get to this point. So I'm glad that we're finally, you know, you prime the pump and finally the water starts to come out. Okay, so we're gonna go on our walk. Everybody ready? Follow me. I guess I don't need a microphone anymore. I just want you guys to have this in your mind and have your bodies have done it so you know what it, what it does. Bye.
I like that.
It's good memo.
Stay. Yeah.